This is the last time I take a drunken bet from Steam. Hello YouTube, I'm Darkest101 and welcome to a new themed month on Darkest101 Reviews. Welcome to a month with The Asylum. The Asylum are like the RKO of recent film history. They make movies with sensational titles and then just make a script around whatever the fuck they want. They're most famous for their mockbuster approach to filmmaking, and they're the team you're most likely to see their movies get featured on the Sci-Fi Channel. You know exactly the type of movies I'm talking about. Two-Headed Shark, Transmorphers, Tornadoes, Hansel vs. Gretel. All the movies you look at and go, that just sounds fucking terrible. But do you know the most amazing thing about the Asylum pictures? They have never lost money on a film. That's right. No matter what film they make, whether it be Scarecrow Slayer, Snakes on a Train, Alan Quatermain and the Temple of Skulls, or Paranormal Entity, Asylum have always made a profit. Don't believe me? Well, how about we have a look at their most famous entry in recent times? Sharknado. Everyone and their grandmother heard about Sharknado when it first premiered on Sci-Fi. It just blew up as this so bad it's good phenomenon. And Asylum clearly understands this because they've made 3 sequels, and let me make this clear, Asylum have usually made rather cool sequel names. But for Sharknado, they just gave them the most self-aware subtitles. Sharknado 2, the second one. Sharknado 3, aw hell no. And of course, just in time for episode 7, Sharknado, The Fourth Awakens. Well, a good pun is always appreciated, but we're not here to discuss the disaster of disaster movies that are the sequels. We're here to discuss the Asylum classic, because let's face it, that's what it is now, the original Sharknado. The movie wastes no fucking time with the Sharknado as we see perhaps the biggest migration of sharks trying to avoid getting sucked up in a waterspout, as this third place Antonio Banderas lookalike and his crew catch sharks for fins. Unfortunately for these hard-working men, they haven't realised that these are just, in fact, extra sharks Spielberg dumped off the west coast after he was finished with Jaws. Look at them, come on, they're so fucking obviously rougher, they're not even trying. And just remembered what film I'm watching. They get caught up in the storm, however, as the high winds fling live sharks on board. And oh my god, I thought the rubber sharks were fake, but holy shit, that's some bullshit right there. Also, bonus points for the fact the shark just defaults onto its killer instincts. No confusion, no nothing, just crash lands on the ship and starts eating people faster than Homer Simpson. By the way, every time I see a shark eating in this movie, there's a little voice at the back of my head that just makes it sound like the sharks are going nam 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 nam. You see, it just fits, you know, it just fits. And I hope you enjoyed seeing the Sharknado, because the next time you'll see it is in the climax. False advertising much, Asylum? Also, look at the sudden jump in tone. We go from a man getting ripped apart inside a Sharknado to sunny beaches in California. Bring your friends, fun for the whole family. Would now be an appropriate use of too soon? Maybe? No, I don't think it would be. We're then introduced to Finn. Oh, fuck you, movie. Nova. No, seriously, what's her real name? Baz and George. Undoubtedly, the last two are the best characters in this movie because neither of them give a shit what's going on, and George is drunk half the time anyway. This movie's so minor it seems likenesses. Oh, and by the by, you see that obviously obvious and untold fake looking scar on Nova's leg? Turns out she doesn't like talking about it. Which begs the question, why would you work in just a bikini and an apron that seems to direct attention straight at that scar? Why would you wear that? Anyway, sharks come and attack people literally standing in the fucking surf. How does that work? It's a consistency in this movie that sharks attack just out of shin-high water. And not even shin-high on a fully grown adult. We're talking shin-high on a kid that's just entering puberty and can just about reach the top shelf at a supermarket but can't grab anything off of it. Where was I going with this metaphor? Anyway, this happens to Baz. Nom 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 nom. They do get back to the shore safe and sound, and Nova tries to hit on Finn to lessen stellar results. It's literally a case of, I think you're hot. Nova, piss off, I'm not interested. I mean, props to the guy, he's a divorcee. He's not going to be going out with the first waitress that throws herself at him. I mean, props to the movie, it's nice to see that in a movie for once. Nova is suddenly made aware of this when Finn calls ex-wife April and tells him about the oncoming Hurricane David. You know, I hear the name Hurricane David, and I just think to myself, what sort of bullshit name has my younger brother given himself this time? This, however, brings into question why the hell this movie's called Sharknado, when for literally like an hour, 2/3 of this film's whole runtime, the damage done is not by a Sharknado, but by a shark hurricane. You know what? Fuck it. I just remembered what movie I'm watching. Not gonna question it. Sharks then get flung across the place and crash through Finn's window. Everyone gets the fuck out of there, weapons in tow, to fight off the soon-to-be deceased sharks. And not because they're going to kill them, they're just going to suffocate on dry land. Seriously, why is it the first instinct to these sharks to just consume everything that's put in front of them? They have been sucked from the sea, thrown by hurricane force winds and slammed into the ground. Why are they still conscious, let alone... Guys, you need to remind me more often of what fucking film I'm watching, otherwise I'm just going to keep on going. Also, the amount of continuity errors in this film from shot to shot is mind-blowing. I'm not going to point them out every time they happen. I'm just going to say that water-filled roads appear and disappear, the sky jumps from cloudy to overcast to sunny as fuck, water levels are waist-high inside but ankle-high outdoors, rain appears and vanishes between shots, it's a mess. And props to the special effects team by flooding the streets of LA up to the height of half a standard tire. The group agree to go and find April and Claudia, Finn's daughter, and get them to safety. A fact Nova finds very upsetting because she didn't know Finn had a daughter.
I'm really worried about Claudia and April. I gotta check on them.
I'll come with you.
April doesn't like you, remember?
No, mate, she doesn't like you, remember? She loves me. Where do you think Claudia came from?
Who's Claudia?
His daughter.
You have an ex-wife and a daughter?
Yes, he has a daughter. Why are you still acting like this is a betrayal of trust? You two are clearly not going out and he's clearly not interested in your obvious sexual advances. Back the fuck up, lady. So they head out to rescue Finn's family as they fear the storm will only get stronger and throw sharks further inland. Which, yeah, it might do, but there's only a finite number of sharks you can throw before you're out of ammo. You know, I've just given myself the mental image of a giant shark cannon just off the coast of California. I mean, it doesn't make any sense in a movie, but it'd be hilarious. They come across a bunch of people that get stuck on the roads as the water begins to rise. They decide to stop and help them, despite the fact that all of these people who get stuck are all in cars themselves and are all easily capable of running away. It's at this point, George gets washed away because of this stupid decision. But fuck that, am I right? Finn has to go save his family. No mourning, no sense of guilt, no sense of regret, no... oh... That pipe just shit out a shark. There is no way you can convince me that that was anything but a pipe shitting out a shark into a swimming. That is totally what that was. That was totally what that was. Okay then, okay. Not commenting on it, just finding it funny as fuck. They pound on April's front door, only to be met with the cold shoulder. But then sharks erupt from the drain pipes, and she's suddenly convinced. Fuck! Finn tries to get April and Claudia to come with him further inland when April's new boyfriend shows up. Now, I know this is a disaster of a disaster movie, and in these types of movies, you know, the natural disaster is the bad guy. But for some unexplainable, unfathomable reason, April's new boyfriend is every generic villain from every crappy rom-com I've ever seen. It's like he's literally just walked from the set of an entirely different movie. He's all smarmy and slimy and, oh, look at my Beverly Hills home. And then he gets attacked by a shark 3 minutes later. So what was the point of this character again? It's fucking weird, okay? It's really fucking weird that this guy has just strolled onto the film because April and Claudia barely react to his death. and no one mentions him ever again after they leave the house. So it's just sort of like, what was the purpose of this character? The water in the house starts rising, and the sharks want seconds. Nova takes it upon herself to use up all their fucking ammo on one shark. Now, I may not be correct in this assumption, but I think she got it. They all pile in the car as the house collapses for no reason, and head out to rescue Finn's son, who we've literally now just suddenly remembered out of nowhere. Along the way, they find a school bus that's surrounded by... Okay, no. Oh, no, that is not okay, movie. That is just generic stock footage of a shark in open water, in like fucking the ocean. That's documentary footage of a shark in the ocean. You didn't even edit that. You didn't even blue screen that to make it look like it was in a flooded LA street. That's just straight up ripped from a documentary. How can you be this bad? The school bus scene is boring, save for the teacher, who is honestly just stealing the show right here.
I reached dispatch just before all the electronics went out. They said someone from 911 is sending someone over.
Oh yeah? You wanna wait for them?
Hell no. Bunch of little kids went up before me. How hard could it be, right? I hate sharks. I moved down here to be an actor.
I genuinely don't think that last one was acting. I genuinely think that the actor just woke up and realised what movie it was in, and the director was like, no, that sounds good, put that in. So Finn helps to rescue the kids trapped in the bus, and they set off again, when he suddenly smells gas. And then the car blows up out of nowhere. They reach a convenience store that's somehow still open and conducting business as they gather supplies. To be 100% honest, the owner doesn't really seem threatened by the fact that sharks are raining from the fucking skies.
Apocalypse my ass. This isn't the end of the world. Gods, they're not angry with us. The aliens aren't coming down.
It's nice to hear the voice of a logical, clear-cut, sane person in this kind of catastrophe.
It's the government.
And just remembered what movie I'm watching. They realise they've just across the street from a place selling famous film vehicles and decide to grab one. But they just pick this generic as fuck truck that honestly looks like it belongs in a zombie movie. Why didn't they go with something a little more exotic? We all know Asylum isn't afraid of stepping on a few toes here and there. They don't give a fuck about copyright. And this is Sharknado's biggest flaw. It tries to paint these characters as heroes rather than survivors. This is meant to be a disaster movie. We can all see that. It's meant to be a silly Asylum product that serves as an answer to movies like Twister, 2012, The Day After Tomorrow. There's not a monster to be killed, not a villain to be beaten. The goal is simply outlive the natural disaster. But this movie doesn't get that. It feels like these characters they made up are the only people who can possibly stop this, but in all honesty, wherever they go, they seem to be the only people who know that there's even a Sharknado happening. Like, businesses are still open, people are still commuting like it's a regular day. Like, do they know there is a hurricane just off the coast of California? That should be scary enough, but now you've also got monsoon-style rainfall washing people down the streets and sharks into downtown Los Angeles. How are people still only just finding out about this? And the movie tries to portray these characters as these badass heroes who are the only people capable of possibly destroying the Sharknado, when really they're just simply the only people smart enough to pay attention to what's going on around them. They have no unique skills, no special, unique, defining characteristics, nothing. As a matter of fact, why do they even have a shotgun? I mean, a pistol, yeah, I get that. Everyone has a pistol. But a shotgun? Now that shit's dangerous. I thought I had the safety on. Might have just shat myself. So, they finally reach Finn's son Matt, who's at flight school at an aircraft hangar. Just go with it. And the Sharknado begins to pick up again. The aircraft hangar barely just holding together. Also, God intervenes and yanks this girl out of the film. I mean, how else would you describe that? I mean, I'm surprised it doesn't have voiceover.
This is God, putting you in a better fucking movie.
So they then decide to blow up the Sharknado because this movie can't figure out if they're survivors or heroes. The Sharknado has also split up into 3 because, ooh, drama. We also get a bit of information on what happened to Nova and her leg. Also, she's finally taken the hint and given up on hitting on Finn. Just so happens she ends up hitting on his son instead. No, that's too fucking weird, movie. That's too weird. It's a bad Asylum. Bad movie. Go to your room. Anyway, Nova got bitten by a shark on a fishing trip with her grandfather as the sharks quote-unquote took her grandfather. Just the way she phrases that makes it sound like it's a line from Taken. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. But I will find you. And I will serve you with a side of chips. So Finn's son takes a bunch of bombs up in his helicopter with Nova, whilst Finn keeps sharks from hitting said helicopter. In the middle of a tornado, with a pistol, a shotgun with no ammo, and a chainsaw. Right, you can DIY bombs, but you can't somehow make a long-range weapon? And despite it being tornado fucking winds everywhere, Finn somehow manages to be some sort of miracle shot and still manages to clear the sky of sharks for the helicopter. How? I mean, it's super accurate, but it's not genuine badass. Can this movie just provide me with one genuinely badass moment? You play that back. You play that back right fucking now. That was awesome. Yeah, I've got nothing left. That was just fucking badass. I wanted to see it a second time. So they blow up the first 2 Sharknadoes, no problem, but run out of bombs for the last, as Baz gets nommed on by a shark with no real fanfare. You know, one of the main characters, yeah, he's dead now, no one gives a shit. Nova slips out of the helicopter and right into the mouth of a shark like, woohoo, fast food! Finn then jumps into their generic mobile and drives the bomb right into the last Sharknado. However, one last shark nearly crushes his daughter. Oh yeah, Finn has a daughter, doesn't he? Genuinely forgot she was in the movie. It looks for a moment that Finn might be dead, but he rips open the shark with the chainsaw, and guess what he found inside? Oh, fuck you, movie. Finn and April kiss, and they look back over the destruction.
Hell of a day.
Okay, so Finn, let me just remind you, 2 of your friends are dead, half of Los Angeles has been submerged and attacked by sharks, and your business is fucking ruined. All you can say is hell of a day? Fuck this movie, 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 fuck this movie. Okay, so this movie is exactly the type of hilariously bad you'd expect from a film called Sharknado. It's full of some goofy performances, really obvious special effects, and some stupid characters. In all honesty, the worst thing that can be said of this film is that it's surprisingly empty at times. I mean, I think a good chunk of the runtime is Finn and the gang just sat in the car talking about what they're going to do next, with the occasional shark attack thrown in to mix it up. They even managed to work in a police chase into this movie. A police chase in a film called Sharknado. Now you know you're scraping the bottom of the barrel in terms of padding the runtime. It also sucks that they don't have the best characters, George and Baz, do anything more noteworthy in the plot. They just end up being relatively pointless characters despite how fun they come across. Despite its now cult status, the original Sharknado is kind of a weak way to enter the Asylum filmography. I mean, yeah, it's stupid and it's fun, but at the same time it's surprisingly empty at times as well. I mean, it is still entertaining, especially whenever the sharks come on screen. Oh my god, the movie is worth it just for the brief intervals where the sharks are on screen. All in all, I think Sharknado is worthy of a dark rating of 40.
There are sharks flooding the streets. And now there's one swimming in your pool.
But I hope you enjoyed our first entry into our month for the Asylum, and next week we'll be having a look at the Asylum film Bloodstorm. Tasty, I know. But if you have a suggestion for a future review, please drop it in the comment section below. And as always, I've been Darkest101. You have been watching Darkest101 Reviews. Thanks for watching. Good night, YouTube.